So this question says, find the volume of the irregular solid shown below. All right, so what we're seeing here is we're seeing a cylinder with like half of a sphere underneath it. All right, so I'm going to write down here that this is half of a sphere. It's not a whole sphere. It's only half of it. It's a hemisphere is what that's called. Make that P a little prettier. Okay, so I have a cylinder and I have half of a sphere. So if I want to find the volume of the whole thing, if I can find the volume of one and add it to the volume of the other, then I can find the volume of the whole thing. So I'm going to do two separate parts here. First, I'm going to find the volume of the cylinder. All right, so let's look on our formula sheet. Let's find the formula for volume of a cylinder. Here's a cylinder. The formula for volume is pi r squared h. All right, so the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. So now I'm just going to plug in my numbers into that formula. So volume is equal to, pi is just a button in the calculator. My radius is not 1.4. 1.4 goes all the way across, and a radius only goes halfway across. So the radius is half of this volume. I'm sorry, half of this diameter. So if the diameter is 1.4, the radius is 0.7 squared times, and my height is 8. So I'm going to plug in my 8 here. All right, so I'm just going to type all this into my calculator, and I'm going to get a value for the volume of the cylinder. So I've got pi times 0.7 squared times 8. So I get 12.32 if you round correctly, 12.32 meters cubed as the volume of the cylinder. So if I colored that in, that'd be this part. All right, so now I need to find the volume of the hemisphere down here. I need to find this volume. All right, so if I look on my formula sheet, there's actually not a formula for a hemisphere. But there is a formula for a whole sphere. So I'm going to find the volume of the whole sphere and then cut it in half, because that would be half of my sphere. So the formula for volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, so the formula for volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. But we know that we're going to take that and cut it in half, because I only have half of a sphere. I don't have the whole thing. All right, so let's start plugging in our numbers. Up here, I've got 4/3 is just a number. Pi is just a number. The radius of the sphere is the same as the radius of the cylinder. So if the radius of the cylinder was 0.7, the radius of the sphere is also 0.7. But now it's cubed. And then once we get that answer, we'll divide by 2. Okay, and so now we are ready to start typing this into our calculator. This appeared out of nowhere, sorry. Okay, so I want to type in open parentheses, 4 divided by 3, close parentheses, to be really safe with this 4/3, times pi times 0.7 to the third. And whenever I do the top of this, I get 1.44, and I need to divide that by 2 because I only have half of a sphere. So 1.44 cut in half is 0.72. But this is not the answer. This is meters cubed again. This is the volume of the half sphere. And this is the volume of the cylinder. The question is asking me to find the volume of the whole thing. So to do that, I need to add these two pieces together. So 12.32 plus 0.72, I get 13.04 meters cubed would be the volume of the entire figure.